morning, folks. Hey, look, I'm not going to spend a lot of time discussing this, but I still see the same chatter out there that I saw in 2016. And, we are so far removed from 2016, it isn't funny. So let's talk a little. The story about the 17 Democratic Party legislators that got arrested out in front of the Supreme Court, being, quote, political theater, kabuki theater. We used all of those terms back in 2016. But we're not in 2016 now. We are in 2021, 2022, and it has been a disaster. Okay, when you look back at that time frame, this country has literally careened into full-on fascism. There are states in the union that now will not allow women to get divorces if they're pregnant. And as we all know, there are times in people's lives when abusive men are more abusive than other times. And actually, pregnancy happens to be one of those times. So now women are fucking not only forced to give birth, but are trapped in marriages that are dangerous. I want people to understand this. This group, the Factivist Project, has no illusions about politicians, okay? But what we have to learn how to do is harness those politicians. In order to be a politician, by definition, you kind of have to be an egomaniac, okay? You're either driven by your ego or you're driven by public service. There actually are people out there driven to be public servants. And there are people who have done this, for their entire career as public servants, okay? So we have no illusions, but what we do know is this, undoubtedly, the two parties are not the same, okay? What the GOP does is play to their base. Their base is vile. They are indeed deplorables. They are white supremacists now. They are bigots. They are maggots. And they are people who want to define rights based on what they consider acceptable. We, women, poor people, gays and lesbians, transgender people, people of color, people who don't have the same means as others. We are the Democratic Party base. We either learn how to harness what we can do and use them in a positive manner, or we just sit on social media all day spreading the same bullshit that we've been spreading for 5 fucking years. Okay, that both parties are the same. Both parties are not the fucking same. And I don't really care what the motivation is for the Democrats. They're catering to their base. They're getting my vote. End of story. We either reject the GOP out of hand, or you're willing to live with fascism. I'm willing to bet that if you're willing to live with fascism, that you're not going to be affected by 3/4 of the shit that's going on in this country. Before I leave, I'd like to point out something else. Let me just see if I can share this screen here so people really also understand a couple other things. So hang on a minute. I'm going to read this to you so you understand. This is Merrick Garland talking about the January 6th investigation. Quote, "We do not do our investigations in public. This is the most wide-ranging investigation and the most important investigation that the Justice Department has ever entered into. We have to get this right." End quote. I'd like to remind everybody here that this isn't fucking Watergate. This is so much more huge than Watergate. And I lived through Watergate and watched those hearings on television, okay? This is so much more huge than Watergate. And Donald Trump is such a fucking snake in the grass that this needs to be done properly. Merrick Garland's not going to tell you on fucking social media what he intends to do. Do you have any idea how utterly stupid that would be? The people who are working on this are actual legal people, people who are attorneys, people who are district attorneys, people who are lawyers. You are a bunch of social media pundits. Get a clue and shut the fuck up. I'll talk to you later.